We have a similar amendment, but I support Thomas's amendment. Kind of surprised they aren't grouped, actually. Whereas I think it's essentially, although Thomas's is a bit more fleshed out, and it kind of relates to the earlier discussion even about the non-residential space in these large-scale developments. The point about these large-scale developments is they are large-scale and they have big impacts on towns and communities and populations in a way that relatively small-scale don't. So they need to be viewed differently. Because they can fundamentally alter the character of an area. They can alter the scape, if you like, of an area. They can really, really significantly impact in a lasting way. I mean, it's slightly off the point, but you know, there's some people who would say the biggest disaster that ever happened in Dún Laoghaire was Dún Laoghaire Shopping Centre. Right now, I actually quite liked it when I was a teenager, but arguably it's become a major problem in terms of the development of the town. Now, you can never perfectly legislate for these kind of things, but I think with the benefit of experience of the wrong kind of development often happening, and the SHD being a particular model that has failed, I think, and failed fairly spectacularly, we need to learn some lessons to try and do better the next time round. And I think one of the lessons is when you are talking about large sites where there's potential for a big development impact, we can't just see this in the narrow terms of, well, we'll just wait to see what the developer hits us with. And then we're on the back foot from the word go, by the way, because sites are sitting there for ages, nobody knows exactly even who owns them. And then out of the blue, bang, massive big development that's going to fundamentally impact on the people, not just in the immediate vicinity, but on the entire town. That could fundamentally change the character of the area and impact on large, large numbers of people. So I think we have to have a different approach to that kind of development than we do to your common or garden relatively small or modest development. And that means you get the community in on the ground floor. Rather than have the community on the back foot reacting, and then you get this adversarial thing. And then we get actually, you're just the naysayers, always the naysayers. The objectors, serial objectors, you know, and it's just adversarial and confrontational from the word go. I think we need to change that. I'll give you an example, by the way, and this relates very much to the extent to which this legislation, I do appreciate, and I know the supporters of the government are very keen to say this is a positive change, we're bringing it back to the local authorities, this is what you call for, and it is. Accept it, accept it. Credit where credit's due. But things weren't perfect before either, in terms of large-scale development, right? SHD was particularly bad, but things weren't perfect before. So just going back to the status quo is not good enough in my opinion, or to the pre-SHD status quo. And we need to recognise that, and see, saying the planners are good, of course the planners are good, but the planners, again, are reacting to what other people are coming to, coming with them, and they're coming, what private owners of property, often motivated, and in all cases motivated when you're talking about these developments, primarily by the concern to make money out of the site. You know, let's be honest here. These people are not primarily developing these sites in order to benefit the local community. That's not their purpose. Their purpose is to maximise the value of the site. They often have no connection whatsoever with the community, but have just come in because they see an opportunity to make money. And so to relate to the point about, you know, who knows what, and do they have a good judgment, or let's not tie their hands in terms of the viability of the site. I mean, some of the disastrous decisions these developers make, even on the basis of how they think they can make money. And they're even wrong about that. and they build stuff they can't even make money out of. I cite the CMark building on Marion. I keep talking about this because I'm there for 10 years and I pass and it's just driving me absolutely ballistic when I pass it every single day. This massive building built by McNamara right beside the hospital, St. Vincent's Hospital. It should be part of the hospital in my opinion. It's just sitting there empty. It's an absolute disgrace. But it's just sitting there empty. What a big mistake that was. Now, would the local community have ever suggested building that? They absolutely wouldn't. And the most recent example from my area is just say St. Michael's. One of the big SHDs that really was the straw that broke the camel's back for a lot of people in Dún Laoghaire was the plan for a massive development on the St. Michael's Hospital car park, which first of all shamefully was sold, that it could be allowed to be sold on the St. Michael's Hospital car park. That's a public hospital owned by a private religious charity, but which we all pay for. It's our flipping hospital and they can sell it to a developer. Then a big SHD is proposed. Everybody's going ballistic about it. And that was taken for judicial review. Then because I think the developers knew it wasn't going to go very well in the judicial review, they pull out. But now with this, they just put in a new application for an SHD on the site, and they're allowed. Now, this is a critical site. So first of all, we in Dún Laoghaire are going to be dealing with another SHD, despite this legislation, on an absolutely critical site for the future development of Dún Laoghaire. On a historic site, on a heritage site, on a site overlooking the harbour, on a site right next to Dún Laoghaire at Down County Council buildings. Okay? Now, the people of Dún Laoghaire and the community organisations of Dún Laoghaire have got ideas about what could be done with that site. They always have. And frankly, what's going on in some of the areas adjacent to that, in around Blana Avenue and so on, right, people have long thought we could do brilliant things for Dún Laoghaire. We've already got the abomination of Richard Barrett's Bartra co-living development going up just around the corner, which got in under the wire, towering up above Dún Laoghaire, and now they're going to still potentially get an SHD development on a site around the corner. My point is, I'm sorry, lass.
You'll get a chance to come back in.